Hey, it's Walt with One Fall WrestleCast. First of all, sorry for being a day early. I am actually going to be out of town on a work trip, so we needed to make this happen tonight. Unfortunately, our little pal and the third member of our group ski I don't is unable to attend this evening. And it's just because that's just the human that he is, but we love him regardless. But Tom and I are here. We got a lot to talk about, so we're gonna jump into it.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
Well, this is awkward.
Well, see, I figured because Derek wasn't here this week, I could be the interim champ. Because I have the AEW belt and all, and whenever somebody can't be there, somebody else is the interim champ. So as you can see, even though this doesn't make any sense, I am the interim champ.
Yeah, because technically I'm the champ. I'm just
Right.
out with an injury this week because
Right.
if we're keeping score, my AEW championship is right there.
Right.
So it looks like I'm gonna have to pull it off of the tree,
Right.
for our little segment here. But we already know ahead of time that there's gonna be no Derek this week. So glad to see that Tom went out and spent the $12.99 to.
Hey, this was like $18.99.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like kind of more money than I thought it was going to be. But
It's actually a pretty nice little toy
it's
belt.
not bad. It's really not bad. It came with Velcro, and there's like some stitching, and it's got the fake leather, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of not bad. Derek and I bought them like the day that like all the AEW stuff hit Walmart. He was like, "Hey man, you want to go meet me at Walmart? We can get all the AEW stuff." And then I was like, "Yeah, man, for sure." So we walk in and there was literally no AEW stuff except for 2 toy belts left, and the shit had just hit the shelf that day. And this is at some little podunk Walmart in the middle of West Virginia. And
Those are the ones that are going to
shelves,
get hit the hardest, though.
the shelves were just destroyed. And I just happened to have looked down and I'm like, "Oh, belt." And Derek was like, "Bro, is there 2 there?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, last 2." So yeah, it's great. Now, if we ever wanted to expand this and include Derek, we all have the same necessary championship. However, this will always be about
mine just came today, so I literally
that's good.
I just put it on to show you. It
dope.
doesn't signify anything. I just thought of the interim champ thing.
That's funny
on the fly because it was funny. It's a good joke.
Funny.
It's a good joke. It's a great joke, even. But I'm gonna need to stop. All right, let's talk about wrestling.
Absolutely. So I kind of want to start out, Tom, and I want to talk about Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn is on the run of his career right now.
For no particular reason other than the fact that he's on the run of his career right now. And you know what's really funny? We've said this repeatedly, at least once every like couple of months. It gets brought up, Sami Zayn and him being on the run of his career, and he just continues to be on the run of his career. Like the stuff he is doing with the Bloodline right now, and like how he is kind of, I don't know what the proper terminology is here, but like the way that he interacts with Roman specifically, and he's like not afraid to interrupt Roman and get in there, and man, it's just added another layer to the onion that is the Bloodline.
Well, my other favorite thing about that is that it seems to me that it is entirely what Sammy's goal every week to get one of them to break character.
Yeah.
At first, it was Roman, and he got Roman to break character. At first, after when he was talking about the number 2 and the like Roman's like, He's fighting it. You see him fighting it, and then he like turns around and has to like face away from the camera because he broke character about the poop joke. Last week he got Solo Sikoa. He's gotten Solo a few times.
Yeah, he kind of got Roman too. Like when Roman was like, Roman started laughing a little bit. So, I bring that up because I was really looking at this right the other day and just really thinking about the whole Sami Zayn in the bloodline, the honorary use. Paul Heyman like hated Sami Zayn at one point in time, like could not stand Sami Zayn.
I could see how maybe being with him in person, that could be a thing. That there may be people that could not stand being around him. I bet Vince McMahon could hardly stand being around him.
Guaranteed. Because you know damn well the things that he does on screen, he's definitely doing behind the scenes. It's like, let me just, what if we tried it this way? And then Vince would be like, well, listen, pal, I really like it the way that I write. But Vinnie Mac, Mr. McMahon, like, I'm the one that's got to go out there and do this. And it's like, I would really feel more comfortable if I did it my way. Well, pal, I'm pretty sure that but Vince, like, yeah, I'm trying to get this over for you. Like, just 100% that's how that dude is behind the scenes too.
Oh, for sure. And that like there's certainly he like reverse Vince McMahon's Vince McMahon. That's happened a few times for sure. So yeah, I could certainly see that he and Vince maybe didn't have creative, like, I don't know that Vince would have like hated the man per se, but I think there were certain times where it was like, get this fucking guy out of my face.
He'll be like coming down the hallway from catering or whatever, to the line outside of his office, and Sammy's like third in line, and he's just like,
yeah. What time did you get here? What time did you show up? I've been here since 2 o'clock, boss.
Sammy, call time was 3. He's like, well, I just wanted to make sure that I could get here to talk to you about creative for tonight, boss. That's all, Yeah. But no, but seriously, so I think that's a little interesting wrinkle because we kind of saw that whole Sami Zayn, Paul Heyman thing come to light on us talking smack. And then it was much publicized after that episode that they really didn't care for one another, and now they're working together, and I can't help but think that Sammy's gonna turn on them and win the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns. He is the master strategist after all.
I mean, I don't know. That sure seems, at this point, that's a longer game, I think. I think that certainly storyline-wise, that's interesting and that's compelling. I don't know that that turns into the big money match they think it could be or would be. I don't know.
I mean, if they give it enough legs and they let Sami stay in the bloodline and like continue to just kind of be that comedic foil to the seriousness that is Roman Reigns and the bloodline, and you let that grow and you water that grass, I think that could be big time money.
Maybe. I mean, it could be big time ratings. I don't know if it's I don't think it's not a Saudi Arabia main event.
No,
which is not what we want, right? Like, who's gonna like? We already talked about how great of an idea that was, because like that's not selling us to watch that show, but that's a money match.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the money marks to watch that show.
Absolutely.
So that's like where it's like, oh, you know what? I don't like this pay-per-view anyway, and I don't like the whole idea behind any of this. So yeah, let it be the YouTube star versus the tribal chief. Roman's gonna win, and that sounds tremendous.
Yeah, so I mean, I still think like at the end of the day, though, this is a viable option, and if it's not, I've got a feeling that it's been at least talked about.
Sure,
because there's no way you don't look at the chemistry that he has with those guys, and not say, man, we could do something really, really big with this.
And even as a like consolation, imagine if he reteams back up with Kevin Owens and they're the ones to dethrone Jimmy and Jay.
Yeah, I mean
as a consolation, I'd say actually that probably is bigger money to me. That's actually more compelling to me. If
that's fair,
because he's got more tension and there's more push and pull with him and the Usos than there is with him and Roman. Roman seems to accept him.
Yes,
and it's sort of the Usos that's
Jay
like,
specifically.
Well, I'm just saying he's coming between them because like Jimmy seems down and Jay is like, man, fuck this guy. And I think that that's compelling because you insert Kevin Owens into the mix, which they've teased a little bit. I think that to me is more that I would tune into that more so, but I could see it going either way, and I wouldn't hate either version.
No. Actually, now that you've said that, I think that the tag team option is absolutely viable, especially considering he's got this, this little feud going on, intermingling with Jey Uso, which has been there from the start, but now like it's kind of coming to a head a little bit. And regardless, I think that there's going to be something there, some sort of betrayal with Sami Zayn at some point, whether it comes from Jay or it comes from Sami. It's going to end up leading to something. But I did really enjoy on Friday night on SmackDown, which by most standards was a pretty lackluster show, if I must be honest with you.
It was a pretty mid SmackDown.
We catch so much horse shit. Oh, you guys, all you ever do is bash AEW, blah, blah,
we really
blah.
do catch a lot of horse shit for that.
But, like, at the same point in time, I'm going to call a spade, pal.
SmackDown has so much it has so much potential, but it feels like they rush things and things don't get the time that it deserves. And then you get some, like, random bullshit or you get, like 6-man tag matches, and it's like, nobody gets over in these. Like, why are we doing this on a Friday night show? I guess it's just to get people on the card, like in a 2-hour show. It's like, well, we got a condensed show, so instead of making this 2 matches, let's just put 60 all together. And it's just, and you got 8 minutes, go. And it's like, what? Nobody's getting over.
Yeah, that's like Vince McMahon shit right there, man.
It's like, pure Vince McMahon shit.
You know what I'm saying? And while that formula has worked in the past, I don't necessarily know that the climate of the company right now is really on par with, let's just put everybody out there for 6 to 8 minutes and try to get everybody a quote unquote payday.
Especially with no build, because I mean, the way they did it on SmackDown this week was they put Damage Control out there, which is a 3-woman group. And then Raquel and Shotzi and Roxanne. I was like, Cora Jade? No, Roxanne. Yeah. So, and then they put those 3 out there. Now, obviously, Damage Control has stuff every week. They're part of major storylines and what have you. But to my knowledge, this is the first time I've seen Shotzi. I know that like they're all baby faces, and like that makes sense. And they've all interacted in some way individually. But this is like, oh, you got babyface Roxanne. I don't like babyface Roxanne, by the way.
No, man. When she was on the Indies and she was like that, like heel tweener, the Roxy. I think that was much more enjoyable than what they've done with her.
She just flexes and smiles. That's her whole gimmick.
I mean,
it's not good. Let her be mean.
Maybe they're not there yet.
Like, they just need to let her be mean.
Maybe they're not there yet.
That's what I mean. They did the same thing, to be fair, with Rhea Ripley. Like, Rhea just came out. Remember, it was like we complained every week. It was like, why are Rhea and Rip and Liv just hugging all the time? Like, this is not. Like, I don't care how much you enjoy each other's company. You don't just like nobody does that.
How about Liv just like going off the deep end this week? Like, you
hated it. I was like, whatever, it's fine.
I was like, man,
you hated it so hard.
She can't even ambush somebody backstage properly. Like, Jiminy Christmas.
I mean, it's like, no, I don't know. I mean, I assume that she's gonna be, but I don't know what's going on I guess we'll get to the
Dude, she
Bray Wyatt
attacked
stuff.
Sonya Deville. She attacked Sonya Deville. Like, how much has her stock fallen since they took her off of being an authority figure? Like,
well, Sonya's on SmackDown or not SmackDown. Sonya was on NXT this week. She came out.
So I mean, maybe they're gonna do something with her there. That would be cool. But like her stock has definitely fallen since they took her off of that leadership role. Was she was the commissioner or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, well, I thought the segments between her and Adam Pearce elevated the both of them, and now Adam Pearce is pretty much nowhere to be seen, and Sonya's like random jobber in the back. Maybe they'll do something with her on NXT because Mandy's over there. I think that's the idea because that's what happened this week. Mandy. So I wouldn't hate to see that. I feel like, just put. Triple H is obviously not afraid of factions at all. So I think Toxic Attraction with Sonya and Mandy and obviously the tag team of JC Jane and Gigi Dolan are. I almost called her by her indie name, but anyway, that's not her name anymore. But yeah, so I think they're all coming up soon.
I sure hope so, man.
They just need more stars on SmackDown or on NXT because like they're right now still kind of like practically the show, so it's hard to. I know. Although I think they're still nursing Gigi Dolan's injury because remember she got hurt.
Yes. Yep.
So I think she's still nursing an injury, and so I think they're hesitant to put her on the road where she can be like rehabbing and working out in the performance center because they got top tier state of the art everything there, and it's like she could still walk out there and like do a couple hip tosses or whatever and get back out.
Yep.
But it's a matter of like she's not ready to be on the road. And I think they want her to be on the road so she can get over on the main brand, with everybody else the way they have on NXT. So I think that's sort of what's holding them back. But I would be very interested to see when that happens.
So you kind of pushed us into something that I wanted to bring up last week, but we ended up not getting there. Talking about the main roster, right? A lot of folks out here are really starting to throw a little bit of shade at old Papa H for having a little bit of roster bloat. Now, before you weigh in on this, we all can agree that AEW's roster is just overflowing with personnel for the amount of television time that they currently have in their possession, right?
Yes.
I would say that done right, WWE can have a large roster because they have exponentially more television time per week.
Tons more
than AEW does. Plus, they own their own network.
Right.
So
plus they do a pay-per-view every single month. So there's it's like add 4 hours to whatever they have weekly, add an extra 4 hours a month.
Yes. So I don't necessarily know that I can agree that WWE's roster is overblown or too large. Obviously you agree with that sentiment.
So I don't think it's there yet. I think it was too large before they started all the cuts. It was too large. And I don't think that cuts, I think there's still going to be cuts. I think Triple H is sort of letting the dust settle and getting the people back, his people that he thinks he can move the needle with. Like you still don't see Mustafa Ali a lot, right?
Yeah, he tweeted about that and he's kind of upset. He talking about how he just needs to be more persistent, essentially, is what his little tweet was about. And that, he needs to take a look at himself for not pushing for the things that he wants and or believes in. He's just been standing in line waiting to be put into the game.
I don't know that he's ever been with WWE. Same thing with like, and I hate to just pull out like the indie, like people from India. or people with that sort of heritage. But I think there's a lot of the same stuff's happening with Jinder Mahal. You don't see him. Same thing with Veer. Veer was just squash jobbers every week when Vince was there. Now Veer's back in NXT,
which I think is probably a better place for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But at the same time, like I think that there's like Mustafa Ali and Jinder can't go to NXT. Like Jinder maybe is like some weird guy that like stands around and like gets a 10-second segment in the back talking to a young guy. But I think there's like these are all like sort of, they were propped up to be like, because Vince was like, oh man, we're getting into India now, and look at all the people here, look at all the eyeballs we can get. But maybe none of them were really like top tier type of guys.
Bro, Mustafa Ali can go.
He can. I mean,
at one point in time, he was in the world title picture, bud. Like, and then he got hurt, and then he was never looked at the same again. But he was in the world title picture.
No, you're right. I mean, he was about to be into the Elimination Chamber,
and then they gave him fucking.
I mean, his injury is what started Kofi Mania.
They gave him, but then they gave him the fucking worst stable in the history.
They did give him retribution.
Like,
poor Dominik Dijakovic. Poor T-Bar. Man, you want to talk about a guy that got the shortest end of the stick.
Yeah, but his boy's in charge now. So, I mean, who's to say that we don't find some stick to glue on here eventually there, bud?
I mean, I think Dominik Dijakovic is one of the, like, he's a premier big guy. I mean, he is a top-notch big guy.
Is he better than Keith Lee?
Currently, I would say 2 years ago, Keith Lee, no. Post Keith Lee having to be on the couch because his heart might explode. No, Keith Lee I think is still great, but I think where Keith Lee, the NXT champion Keith Lee is not.
We're making excuses for.
I'm not making excuses. Keith Lee's getting old. He's getting up there in age.
He was older. Excuses.
He was older. He was older anyway. Keith Lee is still good. I'm not saying Keith Lee's not good. I'm just saying that age and illness caught up with Keith Lee, and Dominik Dijakovic is younger. And
is it so hard for you to just admit that Keith Lee he hit his peak in NXT? I mean,
maybe he did. I didn't. I just say that. I feel like that's what I said.
Yeah, but you were much more excusionary, if that's a word. It is now. Write it down.
All right. Keith Lee hit his peak at NXT.
There you go.
And then got sick and went to AEW.
That
was it.
The bus in reverse.
It edged the peak off.
You backpedaled. I'm
saying he hasn't been better. He hasn't been the same since he got sick. Am I wrong? Is that an incorrect statement?
I mean, maybe he wasn't good when he went to the main roster, bud. And he got sick after he went to the main roster.
He did. That's true. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, he walks out and interrupts Randy fucking Orton and goes, "They call me many things." Now, I like the way that Keith Lee talks, and I like the way that Keith Lee cuts promos, but that was fucking not good.
I don't remember it as bad as that, but okay. That's fine. Look, hey, look, maybe you've seen it recently. Oh, just sipping on some Knob Creek. I just got a $50 bottle of whiskey. I'm just going to put to my lips here.
I mean, but I got a lot of whiskey.
Got a lot of $50 bottles of whiskey back there.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of people's girlfriends in there.
Yes.
Little Wayne's World reference for everybody. Put my girlfriend's in there. A lot of people's girlfriends are in there.
And by the way, this is a store pick Knob Creek. So like 75.
Oh, my bad. My mistake.
But if we put together this Royal Rumble party, pal, all of the whiskey is yours to enjoy.
But I don't know how fair that is. But okay, I have to find a nice bottle to add to said collection on my way there.
I mean, all of the whiskey is here for you to enjoy, sir.
Oh, there better be some fucking Eagle Rare there for me to enjoy.
I have an unopened bottle still upstairs.
None of it has touched my lips in like a decade.
And I have like another 3/4 of a bottle back here. So we're good.
Royal Rumble is still many, many months away.
I promise that I will not open that bottle of Eagle Rare upstairs without you.
Okay, that's fair. I love you for that. I appreciate that.
I will not open that bottle of Eagle Rare without you in
Okay.
one way, shape, or form.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
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 All right.
Now,
are you still bagging on Keith Lee, or can we move
no,
on?
I'm done. So,
okay.
One thing I do want to talk about though is I want to talk about Elias.
He's coming back.
Man, they missed the bus here, bro. Why would you announce that?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Because listen. Here's what I would do, right? Like you already knew coming out of the pay-per-view that like Bray Wyatt wasn't going to Monday night. Like I hate to tell you, if you thought he was going to Monday night, you're fucking.
No, Fox has been pissed off.
Okay,
Fox is
stupid.
Fox has been pissed off since the Fiend left, and Fox was like, "You motherfuckers better bring me back a scary man in a scary mask because he popped my ratings a few times."
Absolutely.
So mad.
If you thought he was going to Monday night, I'm sorry that your naivety got the best of you.
Yeah.
However, I think that they should have held him from Friday too. Just done another QR code, right?
Yeah.
And then Monday, kill the lights, right? And fucking place just goes bananas. Fireflies out everywhere, right?
Hello,
I
am Elias.
Could you imagine
oh my God.
the heat from the arena?
I mean, it would be. Yeah, no, you're right. Remember how nuclear the heat was for Elias and Kevin Owens
in Seattle?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant didn't even want to be here.
I mean, there's not since like.
He convinced an entire basketball team to move. Oh, wow.
I mean, not since like not since like the 80s has anybody like there were probably like Jim Cornette tells stories about like people trying to stab him and him having to like hit people with his tennis racket that had a gimmick in it that made it hurt more to like get people off of him. That's like it was nuclear heat like that. Like there has not been heat like that since then. And wow. So yeah, I think no, you're right. If that's the magic they're trying to recapture, if that is the genie they're trying to let back out of the bottle, so to speak.
Yeah, they
that would have been the way to do it.
Pooch.
I don't know that that's what they want to do. I think maybe they want to bring him back to a big pop. And he's going to get a big pop on Monday.
Yeah, but man,
he's going to get like people are going to cheer the shit out of him. He's going to get
that would have been old school booking right there. Like
it would have been. I don't know that
you set him up to get his flowers, and then it's if they want to go that he's a heel, like he's going to have to turn on the crowd, and he's going to have to get the crowd to turn on him. Right, like
that's really hard too. Like I
think if you're trying to go heel and like just fucking go for it, man. I'll be interested to see how it plays out because I do like the Elias character.
I think it's probably my favorite character of the last like this run of like stuff. Whatever era we're in.
Well, now we're in the Papa H era, pal. So this is all bets are off.
Whatever the previous era was,
the previous area, we can call it the
end of McMahon, the end of Vinnie Mac era.
Yeah. Let's call it the paralegal era.
The paralegal era, yeah. So the end of the paralegal era. He's my favorite of from like whatever 2016 through 2020, early like mid 2022. That era of shit. He was my favorite character.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if this whole Vince McMahon Triple H thing was a work?
Vince comes back?
Fucking marks. That's what people that's what people say about AEW. Like
it's I don't know how you get government agencies in on the work if it's a work. Like that would be. I mean, this would be the work to end all works if that was the case. Like
this is like this is the type of shit that people say about Tony Khan and everything that happens negative over at AEW. Oh, it's a work. Yeah.
I mean,
sounds ridiculous whenever you put it on the other fucking foot, doesn't it?
Yeah, but this has like government agencies and investigations and law firms involved. Like once you get to that point, it's clearly not a work. But wow, what if it was? What if it was?
You're a fucking mark too.
Holy crap. I mean, if it was, look, if this was a work, they earned my mark for it. Like they really did. Like they went all out. If it's a work, then I will not be upset. At no point like, God damn it, they fooled me. No, that's I would be like, holy shit, I can't believe it.
Hey, so since we're kind of wrapping up on SmackDown here, we saw Bray Wyatt for the first time on WWE television in what, like 2 years.
Yeah,
I'm really interested to get your opinion on the segment. I have an opinion that I am not quite sure is traditional to one of my own opinions, but we'll go ahead and let you go here.
So this is weird because I wasn't sure what I was expecting, right? Like I had no idea just coming out, and based on the teasing coming up, I was like, I don't know what I expect from this. Usually when wrestling things are happening, I have an expectation, right? I've watched wrestling long enough that I have an expectation for things. I had no expectations going into this. I'm like, this.
Yeah, like I didn't know what to expect. You know, like we know that like Bray is a reinvention machine, much like Chris Jericho, right?
Right, but like weirder.
Yes, but much weird. So like I wasn't really sure what we were gonna get either, because the teases and the QRs and like all of the stuff has been super vague while very, very intriguing. Like even some of the vignettes, like the night of Extreme Rules, like they ran all of his like vignette stuff, like the Wyatt house and the rocking chair and the lantern and you know the Dusty Funhouse. Like what are you gonna get? So
in watching what happened, I think the coming through the door thing is going to be his gimmick going forward with the blue lights and everything.
Yeah, I think that's an homage to Luke Hardy.
To Brody, to Brody Lee. There's that with the blue light. I think that's going to be the gimmick moving forward, at least for him.
Derek pointed that out, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and he was right to do so. But going into that as well, you know, we didn't know what the character we were going to get. He gets out there and just cuts a like.
Yeah, we still don't.
I mean, we still don't, because he got out there and cut like a non-kayfabe promo, sort of. So he just got out there and poured his heart out. Thank you all so much. I didn't know that I could do this anymore. I didn't know that anybody cared. I thought everybody hated me, yada, yada, yada. And you all believed, and here you are, and yada, you know. But then the masked character came up on the screen, and everything was cut out at the end of the promo. Like, he cut a beautifully heartfelt promo, and you were feeling for the man, and then the masked character comes up on the screen, on the Titantron. And I've been thinking about this. My thought is, and this is, you know, this is not a prediction, this might be a spoiler. I think that Bray Wyatt is going to have to feud with himself. Walt, your thoughts?
So, before I answer your mind blower, I got a feel here. You bought that shit?
I mean, I don't know. So, like I said, I didn't know what I was going in for. I didn't know, but you know, when it turned, I went, oh,
yeah, and like I get all that. Like, there's more to, but at first he came out, you know, and he did his entrance, and he looks great, by the way. I don't know how they shot him at Extreme Rules that he looked like he was thicker than a Snicker.
He looks good. Yeah, he looks good.
He looked like he was in really, really good shape. So
I mean, he looks like he's
shit on that one.
He's in thick boy shape, which is good.
Yeah,
he's in the same. Yeah, he's in good Bray shape.
He's in good
great.
Bray shape.
Good for him.
So, but he was like, this is my genuine self, and as he's going through the promo and like the things that you talked about that resonated with you, I'm like, yeah, man, like we missed you too, but I kept going back to something that he said at the beginning that really, for whatever reason, has made me feel like, while some of there was definitely some heartfeltness in the beginning half of that promo, I feel like we might be getting like a full-on version of Bray Wyatt, right? So it's funny that you bring that up, because I didn't think about it that deep, right? But he said at the beginning of the promo, I'm really nervous to be out here. And that resonated with me, because somebody else had just said that 2 weeks prior that made a really, really, really big return to professional wrestling. And that person said that in the ring. And for whatever reason, I continued to go back to Bray Wyatt saying that. It's like, bud, you almost got me. You almost got me to believe, but man, you took a shot at Paige. You couldn't help it. Like, they couldn't help themselves. They had to do it.
See, I don't know that was. I think that's maybe more coincidental than anything else. I don't think that goes anywhere, or that it has any. I think that Paige hadn't been out. I think those were. I think they were both genuinely nervous to be out there. I think that was. Look, I get it. I hear you. I just think that's. I mean,
Bray's a master performer under those lights.
I think you might be looking a little too deep just into that particular.
I mean,
sentence.
I'm looking too deep into it, but you're the one that's over here saying that Bray Wyatt has to have a feud with himself, bro.
I think he's going to feud with himself.
Nothing has ever made more sense in the history of Bray Wyatt.
That's true. I think he's. I think he's going to have to fight. Like, I think he's going to fight Huskus the Pig Boy. I think he's going to fight Abby the Witch. I think he's going to fight, and these will all be, masked. Some of them will be. I do think some of them will be like matches that are that fun house, that Firefly Fun House match that'll be like pre-recorded. But and then I think final boss is he's gonna have to defeat the Fiend. And he's gonna have to defeat the Fiend inside of him, and that was sort of my thought. It's a very Street Fighter thing.
Are you saying that like we're never gonna see Bray live in a ring in a wrestling match? Is that
no.
Because
listen,
that would make the most sense in the entire world. It completely take him into another realm. Like, you're onto something here, pal.
Well, it would, but I certainly think we're gonna get Bray versus the Fiend at some point. I don't know how they'll do the others, but I'd certainly think we get Bray versus the Fiend. I think he might just smash Huskus the Pig Boy like in the ring too. Like some of it might not be. It might just be like a segment. It might not really be a match. It'll be something where it's like, and then the lights go out and he comes up and he's covered in blood and it's pig blood and he's got the head or something like that. I think a lot of it. I think some of it we'll see live. Some of it we won't.
I don't know. I guess I didn't really have anything to grasp at with Bray coming back. Like, I just knew I was excited for Bray to come back, because by all accounts, I mean, everybody, Triple H put him over on Ariel Helwani a couple of weeks ago, right? Talking about Bray, how he's like, hey, like that dude's a creative tornado, and it's like, it's really hard to lasso the tornado and try to catch a ride and try to control that ride. He was like, and that's what it's like working with Bray Wyatt. And if I can do that, then I'll absolutely take a second to work with Bray Wyatt. So I'll be interested to see how we lasso up the old creative hurricane or tornado, that is Bray Wyatt. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch moving forward, hopefully. So I mentioned Ariel Helwani to getting a chance to sit down and talk to Triple H a couple weeks ago, and he did Seth Rollins recently as well. Both were great.
Rollins gave
interviews.
Rollins gave a tremendous interview. They were both very big open interviews where like questions got answered, like, and hard deep questions too. These weren't like surface level like, I'm gonna be the champ
Yep.
Yeah, eat your Wheaties,
bro. That interview
your
with
milk.
Triple H, especially whenever they kind of took a dive into his recent medical history.
Yeah.
And like the questions that Ariel was asking, and Triple H was willing to answer in depth at that. Were quite deep, and they were great interviews. They were awesome interviews. And Tony Khan even said at Triple H's thing, he was like, "Listen, if there's 3 people in the wrestling world that I could interview right now, you're at the top of the list." And then I have Seth Rollins and Tony Khan that, I would like to sit down with at some point. So we got Seth Rollins, which was a fantastic interview.
Also great.
We have not seen the Tony Khan interview. However, Ariel Helwani has come out this week.
We've seen 20-some minutes of it. It's apparently a 77-minute interview. We've seen 20-some minutes.
Okay,
of it.
so I was unaware that the 27 minutes were out. I will have to check that out.
It's in chunks, so there's chunks of it.
Okay, so
and you can if you pay for it, you can see the whole thing.
I'm good,
but I think there's a paywall.
So, anyways, I will dive into that, and I'm glad that you have seen it so that you can elaborate.
I've seen a good chunk of it.
Awesome.
I've seen but yes, go on.
So, Ariel Helwani has come out recently, on Twitter, and I'm fairly certain he's even done a couple of videos, maybe a couple little snippy videos, talking about Tony Khan and how difficult the interview was with Tony Khan. I believe he's been quoted as saying it was frustrating.
He said it was the most frustrating interview he's ever done in his entire career.
And Ariel Helwani has interviewed Dana White
multiple times.
Dana White hates that guy's fucking guts.
Yeah, multiple times.
That's
I think Dana White has said, "I fucking hate you" in interviews.
Yes,
with Ariel Helwani. Yes. I'm pretty sure.
They are the definition of oil and water.
Yeah.
So for Tony Khan to be the most frustrating interview of Ariel Helwani's career is rather fascinating to me. I can see why, because Ariel is very much a soft-spoken, slow talker, very relaxed in his interview style. I think that's what pisses Dana White off about him too. And Tony Khan is very much right. So I could see how that might not mesh. But Ariel had said that he was very evasive in a lot of the questions that were
most of them. He didn't want to talk about anything, and it wasn't just like talking about the current EVP and that suspension and all of that, which at this point, the fact that we've not heard anything and that nothing's gone on since then is bullshit. And we've talked about this at length.
Hey, bud, the Bucks don't even know what's going on.
Right. I mean, I think, and we've talked about this at length. And I think, part of that is that it's that Tony's a pussy, right? And it's just that he doesn't want to.
Tony Khan is a coward. You can search it.
But it's because he doesn't want to fire his friends. One. Although he should, he needs to. He realizes what the right thing to do is, that he should fire all of them, and that's there's he can make the excuse. Although he didn't even make this excuse that we're in the midst of legal proceedings and what have you, so I can't say anything. He didn't even make that excuse. He just said I can't talk about it, and
he goes.
So he absolutely ghosted it. But also he agreed to this interview. So, and then he goes, Ariel Helwani goes on to say, digs even into like MJF, right? Doesn't even want to talk about MJF, who is back, by the way. He could have glossed over that. He didn't even gloss over that. He just said he's not going to talk about it. Like, MJF will talk about it. What the fuck? What else did he talk about? CM Punk, that stuff. Literally all Tony Khan did. And I listened to about 30 minutes of it. All he did was be like, but we've got great matches coming up on Friday. We got great matches coming up next Wednesday. It's like, dude, like, you are not here to be a commercial. This is an interview. And it was painful because it was like, and even he couldn't get anything out of him. And I understand that, but if you're not willing to give anything on any current topics,
then why be there?
Why be there? And I think that was the point that was trying to be like, why are you there? Like even at this point, like sort of the settled brass, even that got settled on TV, the MJF stuff. Why not dig into that a little bit? Because clearly Max has. He's dug into it on television.
It's because he's fucking baby, bro. He's the definition of a non-confrontational fucking little bitch.
But he's not gonna take this fucking shit anymore.
Right? It's easy to talk that big talk to that room full of reporters and that one single camera, bud. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
He also got asked about
Malachi
Black. Wouldn't talk about it. I haven't seen the whole thing. I assume he wouldn't talk about Buddy Matthews either. That's probably a contentious thing. I think that he was very limited on Ring of Honor information and TV time as far as all that goes.
Hey, and then listen. So he gave the viewer nothing. Like he wasted everybody's fucking time.
It's a 77-minute interview, and
it's a fucking 77 minutes of wasted time.
Yeah, and it
cost Ariel Helwani and his production group an awful lot of money.
Yeah,
so if I was Ariel Helwani, I'd be fucking pissed too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really the long and short of it is that like
I've not even seen it yet, and I have an opinion on it. So
well, you're right, and that's the problem. That's the case. And then like the marks that they are, Brian Alvarez comes out.
That's your best friend.
I know, right? He comes out and he's like, "Why would you keep asking him the same question? He's not going to answer it. Why keep asking him the same question? Blah 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 blah." And I haven't seen the interview. Brian said 10 times he hadn't seen the interview, but he ranted on this for 10 minutes. Why would you keep asking him the same question? Why would you blah blah blah? It was like, buddy. He didn't keep asking. He asked him a shitload of questions about a ton of different topics, and he answered none of it for 77 minutes.
Brian Alvarez got his ass so far up his own fucking head.
Oh, my God.
He can't see the light of day, bud.
Well, it's like you can't even trust. So the Wrestling Observer newsletter used to be,
that's the problem with the dirt sheets, right? It's like everybody's got their heads so far up their asses. Nobody's got the balls to call it fucking down the middle.
Nobody does. Well, it's because once Vince took over, and once there was no more WCW, and there was no more Monday Night War, and there was no teeter-totter of it, there was no, and Vince was like, "Fuck the dirt, lie to them." Like Vince would tell people to lie to the dirt sheets because he thought it was hilarious to him when
he
when they
controlled
would
the
lie.
narrative.
He did
100%.
So they would lie to the dirt sheets, and this pissed these guys off because they were being straight up lied to. Every week they were getting information from one person that would say one thing and somebody else would go totally the other direction, and that other direction would be the thing that caught fire, and then the other thing would happen, and it would be and they couldn't confirm things in or one way or the other.
And that's the thing. I just don't understand why we get so much fucking shit for our AEW narrative when there's problems in both fucking companies, but for fuck's sake, AEW's a fucking train wreck. And the fact that he can't even go and give somebody an hour and a half of his time properly, that's spent a fucking shitload of money to make that happen. It's fucking disrespectful. It's unprofessional.
There's a whole production crew. It's a whole thing. There's a production crew.
It's no wonder that AEW's in fucking shambles. This fucking guy can't even complete a professional obligation in a proper manner, and we expect him to be running 2 fucking wrestling properties. And now, dude, Warner
3 hours of TV time.
Warner Media is talking about giving them other non-in-ring television time. Why?
They need 8 more hours of in-ring TV time to deal with all of the talent that they have.
God bless America, bro.
So they right now have 2. I mean, I don't know what the Ring of Honor roster looks like exactly, but they've more or less
Jericho's the champion.
So it's basically just a really bloated AEW roster.
So you want to know what the Ring of Honor roster actually is?
I really do.
Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe.
And those guys are all elite for sure. And this week, oh my, I didn't watch it, but we talked about, oh God, how does the WWE fuck up Samoa Joe? Oh my God, I can't believe how bad AEW is fucking up Samoa Joe. I can't believe it's like,
What's
one,
matter?
they're
You
not
don't
giving
like
him.
War Joe?
No, like, why? Why would you put Wardlow and Samoa Joe together?
Yeah, that's what I said. War Joe.
Yeah,
Listen,
I just,
pal.
I
It's like
don't get it.
that's
I
like
got, I
J-Lo
got nothing.
or what's one of those other ones? Those couple little clicky names.
What was it? Was it was it was Ben Affleck and J Lo, and
Yeah,
that's
they had something that they called it,
yeah, I don't know.
fucking Jafflack or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking
Affleck. Anyway,
probably that wasn't right.
no,
Yeah, man, but like Brian Alvarez he needs to shut the fuck up too.
he really does. He doesn't know shit about shit. He really doesn't, because he'll praise this AEW garbage, and then like find ways to shit on WWE. They're like, really, you're gonna be nitpicky about that? And it's like, I realize that, like, when he's like talk shit, like, but he like comes out and he's like, remember, this Fiend shit sucks, and it's like, and then you think about it, and he's like, and he says something to the tune of like, Creepy Undertaker sucked. Creepy Undertaker was like the greatest thing ever, and he said Undertaker. He said Undertaker didn't get over until he was the American Badass.
Yeah, we put that bibbity boop to bed last week,
Like,
pal.
are
Like,
we like what? He lives on a different wrestling world than the rest of us, right?
He's a member of that Meltzer Mania, pal. That's not gonna work
I
for
mean,
me, brother.
He's on the payroll there, but Jesus Christ,
I mean, but I mean, they're dumb.
Undertaker didn't get over. I mean, they're not even relevant anymore. It's so hard because in AEW that sucks for them, because like they're so focused on like getting a 5-star match from Meltzer.
You know who else sucks? Sportskeeda Wrestling fucking sucks.
I mean, that's always been the worst one,
they're
buddy.
Terrible. They just jump all over Tony Khan's nuts, dude. Like,
they're not. I mean, they're not even.
And Vince Russo too. Let's not forget about Vince Russo.
I mean, he's not legitimate either. Like, he's
God,
most
man.
99% of wrestling fans are more legitimate.
I was in one of their forums of fucking one of their posts or some shit.
Sportskeeda.
I just trashing Sportskeeda. Motherfuckers talking. I used a big word, and they were like, "Oh, you did fucking Roman Reigns nuts slapping off your chin."
That's right. You said you used the word acknowledge.
It's not. I use the word
like
acknowledge.
It's not a word that people use in everyday speak.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not even talking about Roman Reigns. I just said, you said, can we acknowledge that, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, it had nothing to do with Roman Reigns. It had nothing to do with WWE. It was just can we recognize? It's like, had you used the word recognize, which is almost the same word. And it was just, and you're right. They jumped all over you. And it's like, are you guys fucking illiterate? Like, the only big words you've ever heard of, the big words that like the wrestlers use that are on wrestling t-shirts? Like, what the hell's wrong with you people? What the hell is wrong with these AEW marks?
I was like, oh, you think I got Roman Reigns nuts bouncing off my chin because I use a word that you heard in a wrestling promo?
Now, had you said "we the ones," maybe he'd have been right.
The twos, I'll tell you that right now, because they're fucking dog shit, bro.
Shit. Yeah,
like dog shit. Hey, so did you see fucking Day One got canceled?
I did.
Thank God.
I think we need to bring back Great Balls of Fire.
No, like there doesn't need to be
eat balls
before the Royal Rumble.
The
Royal Rumble felt so much less special last year because we got like this big time card on New Year's Day, and then like the Rumble came around, and it's like,
Yeah, well, that and they squandered the Rumble they squandered both Rumbles. They really did.
Yeah.
Like, usually the Rumble is like, who's gonna win? We don't know. It's gonna be a surprise. Except
Royal
like,
my favorite event of the year, bro.
Because it's got
event. That gap where like you need that gap between those pay-per-views, and like, you know, and we always talk about how like Thanksgiving time, you know, the product starts to decrease a little bit. However, WWE is going the opposite direction, and I have to imagine that Triple H is going to just continue to grow the company and not worry about the time of year, much like at least this time around.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I really like that break. And I didn't need that extra pay-per-view before the Royal Rumble because like it made the Royal Rumble feel that much more special because it was
when
like
it was stacked too. The day one was stacked, which is the day one was actually really good, and then the Rumble
it was absolutely a phenomenal show.
And then the Rumble was not good, and that was a problem because the Rumbles should have been really good.
Yes,
and it was not. Yeah.
So I don't necessarily see a problem here. I mean, I guess they already had like marketed and sold and done things, but that's probably a Vince that's a Vince move there. So I'm not really surprised that Triple H just kind of reeled this in a little bit. Let's make the Royal Rumble special. You know, and I want to talk about the United States Championship real quick too. I didn't really mention that to you, but man, they did a really good job Monday making the United States Championship mean something.
I loved when Brock showed up and beat the shit out of Bobby Lashley. I was like, oh damn, it's Brock. Oh damn, it's Bobby Lashley. And like, and then it was like Bobby Lashley now has a match against Seth Rollins for the. I'm like, I was verklempt. So
it made the United States Championship mean something.
I don't want to get too deep into that because we need to talk about match of the week, and I don't want to be a spoiler alert kind of guy. But yeah,
okay, heard. We'll circle back. So, you know, with Bray Wyatt, obviously, in the whole Wyatt 6 thing, right? A lot of speculation. Ava Marie.
I see you were going to talk about this. You said you were good, but okay, let's talk about it.
Like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Okay, I'm good. I'm about as good on Eva Marie coming back to WWE as I was seeing Maria Kanellis on fucking AEW on Friday. Okay.
Oh, you watched it on Friday? I didn't watch that. Which Maria? Well, I mean, I guess technically she works for them. She was Ring of Honor. So
yeah. So they listen. I'm not trying to be a Maria Kanellis hater in here because she's very, very just. And she's done a lot for women's wrestling, but like she talks too much, man. And like I'm good. I'm good.
She's a former 24/7 champion. Look, when Mike pinned her,
baby's a former.
It's when Mike pinned her on the on the table during the exam.
Oh, it was an accident.
Yeah, I loved it. Oh man. That was fantastic.
But I'm good on Eva Marie coming back, bro. Like, as any member of anything with the Wyatt 6, just keep your pink ass over there with fucking the fitness models because that's just I'm good.
I think she's trolling.
You ruined Piper Niven, bro. I'm good.
I don't think she's coming back at all. I think it's over. I think that's just I think it was a troll because she had Lily. She had the.
It's a work, pal.
It's a work, yeah. I think she was trolling. I just think that, yeah.
I'm not willing to talk about that at this point in time. Yeah. I imagine that's how Tony Khan answers.
Any question about Eva Marie? Eva Marie is all elite. How is Eva Marie not all elite yet? How has that not happened yet? Look, she's a better wrestler than half the women's roster.
And you know who is all elite?
Nice. Yeah, I do.
Renee Paquette.
Good for her. That's good.
Man.
That's good because their commentary team sucks balls and their backstage team sucks balls. She's now the most experienced and the best interviewer / like play-by-play person on the rock. Like, she is way better than like. I can't believe how bad Tony Schiavone is. He adds absolutely nothing to the show. He adds absolutely nothing to the show.
Listen, you couldn't say that fucking 4 months ago, bro. But now he's taking on backstage job. Like, he's in charge of the production of the announcers now. So like the fact that he's still out there is a little bit of a stretch, bro. So I mean, I'm sure he's probably doing some other things.
Hopefully, because I can't believe how bad he is on commentary. It's because he used to be like the other best one. It was like him and JR were like the best. And now like he just is like, wow, wasn't that great? Like, what the fuck? What? That's all you have to add, Tony? That's all you have to add?
Yeah, because he's
Good
over
God.
here doing something to the
Okay.
effect of, okay, so we're going to cut over here to this backstage segment, and because he's the fucking guy. He's the producer of the fucking of the broadcast team.
Oh, so he's also Kevin Dunn?
Yeah.
While he's on the... Oh, okay. Well,
So
I mean, that's
quite a tall task.
that's unfortunate that AEW can't hire enough decent, like they've got a roster full of people that they can't use correctly. They can't hire enough people to like get the fucking camera cuts right so that we don't watch Chris Jericho cut himself on the forehead 5 times a week. Anyway, I digress.
Listen,
But no, let's get Renee out there. Let's relieve Tony of his duties so that he can sit in that production truck and like keep people from like filming Chris Jericho blading, and let's let Renee talk because she's much better at this than the rest of these chooches.
oh,
Does that cover Renee Paquette being all elite?
welcome to the show, Renee. Well, I mean, yeah, bud, you're absolutely right. So Excalibur is just it's painful at this point.
I tune him out. God, he's such a mark.
And like they were talking about, Jared was talking about on his podcast how like they rib fucking Excalibur sometimes because like they give him this ridiculous run sheet and they give him this ridiculous amount of time that he needs to read this run sheet, and they do it just so that he'll be like, hey, tonight we gotta sound like a goddamn auctioneer trying to spit out the match card, and it's ridiculous.
Well, it's like they're trying to pop the boys they're trying to pop everybody at the expense of the show, at the expense of the TV show. Because we've been there live and it's a great live show.
It's a great live show. It's a
but
terrible TV show.
But there's a terrible TV show, and it's
on the
really
flip side,
only gotten worse.
WWE is a terrible live show, but it's a fantastic TV show.
It's not a good live show.
It might be now.
I mean, maybe. Probably not though. It seems like they still.
Out.
It seems like they still leave whomever in the ring for like a long period of time. Like that still seems to be a thing because like you'll see
nothing is Rhea in the ring for 26 minutes.
Or it was Liv.
Oh, it was Liv waiting for Rhea. That's right.
It was Liv. Yeah, it was like, how long was Liv out there? Because it becomes one of those things once you see it happen live a couple times, because we went to like 2 different Raws like within a year, and it was like once you see it happen twice and it's like,
yeah, but
and they're just like stretching.
SmackDown coming here pretty soon.
Yeah, December 9th. That's the 3 days after my birthday. So let's do that.
Hit that one up.
We should, because I've not seen a SmackDown. I've been to maybe a dozen Raws and 2 or 3 pay-per-views, but I've never seen a SmackDown.
Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be like a throwback SmackDown and they'll have the fist.
I hope they bring that fist back. That'd be great.
Bring that fist back. That's a nightmare. That's going to be a logistical nightmare on shooting a television show.
That sits in Titan Towers in that basement, full of bullshit and Undertaker, mostly Undertaker stuff.
It's not the basement at Titan Towers. It's like an expansive warehouse that Triple H and Stephanie have spent the better part of the last 5 years trying to turn into a proper physical Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's mostly Undertaker shit. That's the problem. Is like there's like those big Undertaker symbols they crucified people on, and like King of the Rings, like the multiple rings and the multiple like the multiple things that like Triple H had, like all of that stuff, and it's a lot of like Triple H and Undertaker gimmick stuff.
Oh my goodness gracious! Like,
and
why do you hate on the things that people love? Like,
I don't hate on it. I just it's a lot of like Undertaker stuff. It just really is.
Well, it's because he's fucking the GOAT, pal.
I'm just saying, it's a lot of Undertaker stuff.
Hey,
not a lot of Bret Hart stuff in there.
Did you happen to hear? So Montez Ford's hurt, right?
Yes, he's got a boot on. He's wearing a boot.
Oh,
what's all that about?
Man, how things have changed.
How the turntables.
Yeah. So coming out of the whole, I was blown out like a motherfucker. So all of the talk had always been around Montez Ford. Now he's going to be a future WWE champion.
I mean,
and
he
he's
still
like
is.
the Marty, he was the Shawn Michaels of the group. And you even echoed that sentiment at one point in time. And then
I mean, he still is.
I started pointing out that Doc's getting thin. He's getting trimmed up. He's getting speedy. He's adding some explosiveness to his offense. And you agreed.
Well, also Dawkins isn't doing a shitload of cocaine. He's not Party Marty, and he's not like talking about how he killed gay people behind bowling alleys on podcasts.
You're digressing, okay?
I'm not digressing. I'm regressing.
You took a generic comparison, and you're comparing. Okay,
you're comparing Angelo Dawkins.
That's what they
to Party
call
Marty.
It. That's what the pundits call it. It's the rocker syndrome.
No,
okay? There's
it's
Shawn Michaels,
Party Marty,
and there's a Marty Jannetty. You're taking this entirely too literal.
There's a Party Marty, but now we know the truth is that there was a Party Marty, and there's Shawn Michaels,
who was fucking not sober Shawn.
No, he was not sober Shawn
for a very, very long time, and still managed to hold down the greatest in-ring career of all time. He is on the One Fall WrestleCast Mount Rushmore, bro.
Well, he should be. He should be.
But if you go back and watch that episode, I'm the only one that thought he should have been initially. I had to fight to get him on there, and then by the end of my argument,
we just had to let you have one.
Yeah, kind of like I let you have Mick Foley over The Undertaker. We might need to revisit that episode.
We just had to maybe we need an AEW Mount Rushmore.
It's a bulldozer. Just take that motherfucker down, pal.
No, I think we need one. Yeah, I don't know. Dawkins, look, I like Dawkins. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be challenging Roman Reigns for the title anytime soon, but I think Dawkins is good. I've always thought Dawkins is fun. These guys. So I'm actually in a disagreement with a good friend of mine who thought that like NXT Street Profits were great. I hated NXT Street Profits when they would like sit there and like.
So two of you have an opinion and one of you is wrong, and unfortunately, Tom, it's you that is wrong.
I hate
because NXT Street Profits were absolutely the most entertaining.
I thought it was terrible. I thought it was awful.
Do you not like sprinkles on your ice cream? Huh?
No, I really don't actually.
See, this is you don't, and you probably really go, let me get the soft serve vanilla there.
No. I want like, cone. No, no.
Get out of here.
I just
Street
like
Profits, NXT Street Profits.
Buddy, I'm out of beer. We gotta get this rolling along because I'm out of beer.
Oh, so that's what it takes for you to hang out with me, huh?
No.
Gotta drink beer.
No.
Is that am I a trigger for you?
I'm triggered. I'm so triggered.
I got news for you, bud. Only one of us is out of booze.
I shouldn't have said that, should I? Now we're gonna go. Now we're going a long time. I shouldn't.
No, because I have to get on a plane in like 10 hours. So you're good.
Oh, okay. You gotta have at least one good poop before you get on that plane.
Yes.
That's key.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, bro, I don't know what's going to happen with Dawkins. I don't know what's going to happen with the Profits. I don't know what's going to happen with Montez Ford.
I mean, I don't think Dawkins is going to be Marty Jannetty. I never thought Dawkins was going to be Marty Jannetty. I think Marty Jannetty screwed Marty Jannetty, which was a very...
This isn't about Marty Jannetty.
It's not, but I'm just saying I don't think Dawkins is going to have said Rockers syndrome where Dawkins is going to be the Marty Jannetty of the Street Profits. I think that Dawkins is, if and when they split up, if that becomes a thing, I think that Dawkins will be clearly in a mid-card title picture and a very prominent person in a mid-card title picture if he doesn't pick up another tag team partner and become a tag team specialist over again. He could be, the Billy Gunn of, the thing where it's like, Billy Gunn, was New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg Jesse James, tag team champions of the world 10 times over. Huge stars. And then Billy Gunn was, after that, Road Dogg won an Intercontinental title, and Billy Gunn won an Intercontinental title. Road Dogg moved on. He was an older man.
Now you have Scissor Me Daddy Ass.
Scissor Me Daddy Ass. But Billy Gunn, even with Chuck and Billy, that was huge. They were tag team champs. That was great. That was huge. It was a big storyline. But now Billy Gunn's still going, and he's out there with the Acclaimed almost every week doing stuff.
I heard he's dealing in office supplies.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, he works with it for an office scissors. I think he makes big commissions.
I just heard he was working with office supplies.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Speaking of Shawn Michaels, things come full circle, won't they?
Absolutely.
We talk about Shawn Michaels. It's like 3 degrees of Shawn Michaels in wrestling.
Yeah. Well, it's about to be 4 degrees of Shawn Michaels, because the quintessential Shawn Michaels of this generation, Adam Cole, has been absent from AEW television for much of his AEW tenure.
This is the biggest fucking tragedy of AEW, if I'm being honest.
So Tom more specifically than I, there's certain things that I may or may not agree with that happens in a meeting of the minds to get one over. A lot of folks in AEW are hurt, have been hurt, have gotten hurt. And Adam Cole is one of those folks. Adam Cole has a very serious concussion and has been out for, I believe we're approaching 56 days, if I read that correctly, which is an awful long time to be out with a concussion. I've only ever seen one person be out with a concussion for this long, and that was Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
But Tua, over in the NFL, may never step foot onto the football field ever again after one concussion. So there's no doubt that the concussion thing is a big deal in impact sports, right? There's a lot of reports saying that while they're optimistic that Adam Cole is going to return, everybody's starting to come to the realization that he may never return.
Yeah, and this is a goddamn tragedy because, you want to talk about a guy that was so protected, so over, just, a guy that didn't take the only time Adam Cole was more or less, he wasn't quite the MJF of NXT, but he was pretty close, right? And
yeah,
they didn't put him in there taking bumps from unexperienced people. If he was taking a big bump, he was taking a big bump from somebody he was either taking a big bump that he was in control of, or he was taking a big bump from somebody who was like a Finn Balor, like somebody who's just so fucking good they've never hurt a human in their life, right? He was taking bumps from the guys that were Mr. Perfect level, like, workers, right? And now you get him here in NXT, and they ain't got a Mr. Perfect level worker. They don't have a Finn Balor level worker. They don't have a fucking they barely have a Nia Jax level worker.
Ooh.
Right? Like, these guys are the fucking most dangerous, most green. I mean, people just trying to get themselves over, selfish bullshit workers, period. And it happened with him and Orange Cassidy. I don't know why they put him in the ring with Orange Cassidy, but he was hurt after that, and he'd been nursing that injury for a long time. And then, because Orange Cassidy sucks. Like, let's be honest. Orange Cassidy's not good at wrestling. He's very bad.
All right.
And then, you put him, he was already nursing an injury, and NXT.
That poor man. Just NXT. Go ahead.
Like, in AEW, he's already nursing an injury, like a torn labrum or something. And they put him in the ring at that New Japan thing that did no numbers, right? Nobody gave, like, AEW never has done lower numbers than when they were like, oh my God, Forbidden Door. Like more people were watching reruns of The Big Bang Theory than were watching the AEW at that point in time. And it just, it boggles my mind that they would put him in the ring for this kind of bullshit with these kind of nonsense bullshit workers, and, you know, hurt the guy, concuss the guy. Obviously, it was an accident. You know, it's clearly a worst case scenario here, but it's so. There's a responsibility. You have a responsibility as a booker. You have to be. There's a responsibility in combat sports, right? Even fake combat sports, even predetermined combat sports like professional wrestling. You have a responsibility, and they totally negated. They were irresponsible, and AEW has been nothing but irresponsible. And being nothing but irresponsible, they may have hurt this generation's Shawn Michaels and taken him out of the game, so we may not get to experience that as wrestling fans. So from that, I say, fuck them. Fuck them in the ass with glass till they die.
Damn. Bro.
Yeah. That's how pissed I am about this. Like, this is not okay. There is nothing,
a work, bro.
Okay, it's not a work. There's nothing okay about any of this. Okay, there's nothing okay about how fucking terrible. They're gonna kill Paige. They're going to fucking kill Saraya. Okay, they're gonna fucking Saraya. I'm sorry, Saraya. They're gonna fucking kill her. Okay, because they can't.
Corrected everybody. I had to correct you,
but they can't do this. None of these people can work on this level, and nobody is there to stop people from doing stupid shit. So they're going to kill somebody. They're going to kill somebody. And Dr. Britt is not going to be able to revive Saraya when she is internally decapitated. Okay?
Why don't you tell me how you really feel, bud? Like,
I'm done. I've told you. Now you know. It's out there for the world to feel. Wow, I've bled my own blood.
Well, I mean, I don't think that there's really much left to do other than... So, being as it's just you and I, and, you know, I would like to take match of the week here, and I would like you to give me your match of the week. I'd like to have a healthy conversation about it for once, instead of just trying to.
Oh, okay. I'll give you the sign of the cross. Anyway, so my match of the week was Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley, but not for the reason of the match, for the reason of everything that surrounded it. And it was mostly for all of Monday Night Raw, because Monday Night Raw was a roller coaster of just fucking beautiful emotion. And it was great. And it's really disappointing to me that SmackDown was very mid, because Monday Night Raw was one of the best Monday Night Raws in a string of really good Monday Night Raws. It's one of the best Monday Night Raws I've seen in the last 7 years, something like that. But just tremendous.
Good, but like, I don't know
banger after banger after banger. The storylines advanced. Storylines made sense. Things happened. There was the title. Let's talk about my match of the week. Let's start about, because one, there was a title change, and we all know I'm a mark for a title change.
Yep.
You change the title, and I'm more invested in everything that I just watched. So in my head, I'm now recycling. So it's like, if the title doesn't change hands, immediately I delete and move on. But now that the title has changed hands, I'm continuously thinking about it. So Bobby Lashley comes out, is a beast. And I also don't know if you watched this week, he was on Celtic Warrior Workouts with Sheamus.
No, I did not see that.
He did Average Bob workouts with him, because he's Bob. He's Big Bob Lashley. They were fucking crazy. He's like, yeah, I warm up with 100 pull-ups. The man warms up 100 pull-ups. And he says, if you can do one, you can do 100. And I'm like, no, that's not true. That's totally not true. I can do one. And then if I go for 2, I'm gonna fall down, and I might hurt myself. And I'm like, my arms, oh my no, oh my god. Anyway, that was his warm up, and then he did wall sits. Anyway, it's a great episode. It's like 35 minutes long. You should watch it because he kills Sheamus for 35 minutes. It's great, and like Bobby Lashley's just talking through it.
Yeah,
tremendous stuff. But anyway, Bobby Lashley comes out, takes his interview, and then here comes. Oh my God, it's Brock Lesnar. Good God, it's Brock Lesnar. Brock comes out, cuts a little promo, smashes Bob a little bit, and leaves because he's Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar is now in a feud without a title in it. Oh my God. Oh my God. How exciting.
It's for blood money though, pal.
Doesn't matter. Exciting. Because you're right.
You're gonna watch Blood Money then?
I'll watch this match after the fact.
Peacock already.
I know they've already got my $5. I realize that they took it actually today. I got the email today. Hey, we paid Peacock $5.
So then you've already paid the Saudi prince today.
Already paid for it, but I'm gonna watch The Office, so it's fine. So anywho,
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you through this mental wall one day in your life here, bud.
Not this time. So anyway, and then out comes Seth Rollins because he had a match scheduled. It's his time. Here he comes. Bobby Lashley, to his credit, still looked very strong. Tried to spear Seth Rollins, who turned the spear into a pedigree. Looked great. Beautiful. Bobby Lashley still kicked out. Seth eventually wins with a stomp. It was a shortish match. They went about 5 minutes, but still, like after like Lashley just took a beating from Brock. And I was enthralled. Yeah,
the German was a little wonky. Bobby landed high on a shoulder.
I mean, Bobby
wonky.
He did, but Bob didn't seem phased. If I'm being fair to Bob, like he landed a little wonky, and that was probably on Brock because Bob's a big fucking dude.
Yeah, he sure is.
But Bob didn't seem phased. Just landed on muscles, and like the muscles just popped it like. Yeah, no, I mean, so that's the match of the week. The only other thing I want to point out from Raw as like a secondary kind of thing is we got Chad Gable versus we got Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio, which was a lot of fun, but it got cut short because of the Judgment Day stuff. But this was probably the best because this Judgment Day thing has kind of been just dragging a little bit. But this was probably the best thing, the best catalyst that sort of at least pulled this away from what the bullshit was. And I also really liked that Rhea came out with like with an armband that said Beth on it.
Yeah.
After she smashed her fucking head.
Yeah.
On the pay-per-view. So that was like, to me, because that was a good match. Because obviously Ray's the GOAT. Chad Gable's fantastic. And I just really like that whole segment. All of that really worked really well for me.
You know what I really enjoyed about that whole match, bro? And like I started to talk about it earlier, and you kind of put the kibosh on it, but I want to make sure that they made the U.S. title look like it fucking mattered.
It really did, and it because Seth came out, and now it's on Seth. Like Seth's like a multiple-time Universal Champion, multiple-time WWE Champion. He's been a huge Intercontinental Champion. Big time, and now he's the U.S. champion, and that makes him a 2-time U.S. champion.
Yep,
which makes
because he held it was in the Shield, and he actually won it at Barclays in Brooklyn.
So it actually makes him a 2-time Grand Slam champion, and so it's like him and the Miz are the only 2 people that are ever.
Yeah, but they'll never mention that. Miz will continue to say he's the only 2-time Grand Slam champion.
I'm just saying that's the truth. It's so he's the only. So there's two 2-time Grand Slam champions, and it's he and the Miz, and that's huge. That's a big deal because I like Seth a lot. I really think that a Seth, I think they're going to reshuffle too. I think Bob's going to be on SmackDown, so I think there's going to be some like Monday Night Rollins with a title. Bob's going to be on SmackDown doing some stuff. I think it's going to be good stuff, and I'm very excited for it. I don't know that they'll do a draft. I just think they'll just shuffle.
I think they're just going to shuffle.
Yeah, and I think it'll be really good. So that's really why I'm high on wrestling this week. Although I was a little low on SmackDown, but I thought Raw was particularly good. So yeah. I'm more willing to give SmackDown a pass.
You know what, Tom? I really, sometimes I really hate to agree with you.
I know.
But in
He's
this
such a
case,
bastard.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna agree with you that I'm absolutely a mark for title changes too.
It's
And
the best fucking thing. It's the greatest thing.
I got to see one in my match of the week too on Wednesday night
Oh.
whenever Orange Cassidy beat Pac for
Why you
the
gotta do
All
this to
Atlantic
me?
Championship.
You know why they did that, right? Because Pac had too many belts.
Yeah, because Pac was running around there looking like Roman Reigns, and they couldn't have that.
No.
But outside of all of the bullshit, right? Like the match inside the ring was good. It was entertaining. I really enjoyed whenever
Pac's never had a bad match.
whenever Pac was taunting Orange Cassidy with his own kicks, like when he had him sitting there and he put his hands in his own pockets and then backed up and acted like he was doing the kicks, and the crowd bought into it. Like that was the best that I've seen that since Sting did it, right? Then we got a little Danhausen,
Got some Danhausen.
which is always
they
fun
did.
and entertaining.
They pulled out the gimmicks. They did pull out the gimmick. I didn't hate the match. Like you said, I was gonna hate it, and I didn't. I shut it off because I'm like, I really. The biggest tragedy, I think.
I said you were gonna hate it just simply because your boy won the fucking belt.
The thing about AEW to me is that like, and I knew it was like because you were right going into it, like, oh, he's about to win this, and it was the main event, and I'm like, this match wouldn't be the main event if Pac was going to win. So that was the way it was, and yeah, I mean, I went back and watched it. It's actually the only match I watched from Wednesday night because, as I've stated before, I just don't care about AEW anymore. They make it really hard to give
what they want.
But yeah, and so there was a title change, and I knew that. I'm like, all right, well, I'll go look. So we got some Danhausen. Pac has never had a bad match, so it's not hard to convince me to watch a match against Pac. And yeah, no, it was cool. I don't care that or this to me, this title almost feels like it's the 24/7 championship, and I think it is. I mean, is it not? Am I wrong? Is it not like the third singles title?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's they created it to be their little like interpromotional thing. They can go and defend it over in New Japan and go over and defend it in the Indies and shit. Because Pac's done a lot of that, so I'll be interested to see where it goes up with Orange Cassidy.
24/7 title. They just don't want to call it that, and so they're gonna just leave it on R-Truth, and it's gonna be a funny segment.
Okay. All right. So with all of that being said. Listen, if you're still here, please hit the like button. We would greatly appreciate it.
He hates when I'm right.
We would greatly appreciate it. Also, make sure that you follow, you hit the bell notification because we're going to be trying to, slide some shit out.
Dana Brooke was a fantastic 24/7
Oh my God,
champion.
here he goes. Anyways, check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_fall WC. That's ONE. Man, like what now? What?
Nothing. I just said one fall.
Okay. All right. I gotta go. Well, like I can't. Listen, we'll catch you guys next week. Okay. Yeah. With all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast. You fucked me up. My tagline was wrong. Like I mean.